Most drivers think choosing brake pads is simple. Buy a trusted brand, and you're done. But ask experienced mechanics, and many will tell you they're often more concerned about the product line than the logo on the box. The truth is, some brake pads create more problems than they solve. So, what do professionals actually avoid, and why? When people ask mechanics which brake pad brands they avoid, they're usually expecting a list of names. Surprisingly, that's not how professionals think. Most established manufacturers produce several different product lines, ranging from budget replacements to premium OEM quality pads. A well-known company can sell an excellent premium brake pad, while also offering a low-cost version designed mainly to compete on price. That's why experienced mechanics rarely judge a brake pad by its logo alone. Instead, they look at the specific product line, the friction material, the included hardware, and whether the pad is suitable for the vehicle it's being installed on. Two boxes carrying the same brand name can perform very differently because they're engineered for different customers and different budgets. Another reason mechanics avoid making blanket judgments is that vehicle manufacturers often have different braking requirements. A brake pad that performs exceptionally well on a compact commuter car may not be suitable for a pickup truck that regularly tows heavy loads. Manufacturers design multiple friction compounds to meet these different demands, which is why choosing the correct application is just as important as choosing the manufacturer. The biggest warning sign isn't always the manufacturer. It's a brake pad that's suspiciously cheap compared to everything else on the shelf. That usually means compromises have been made somewhere. But where exactly do manufacturers cut costs? The answer starts with the material that actually stops your car. Every time you press the brake pedal, the pads convert your vehicle's kinetic energy into heat through friction. That simple process places enormous stress on the braking system, which is why the material inside the pad matters so much. Modern passenger vehicles typically use one of three friction materials: organic, semi-metallic, or ceramic. Each has strengths and weaknesses. Organic pads are generally quieter, but wear more quickly. Semi-metallic pads provide strong braking performance and handle heat well, but they often create more brake dust and can be noisier. Ceramic pads usually produce less dust and quieter operation, making them popular for everyday passenger cars, although they're often more expensive. One characteristic many drivers overlook is how different materials behave as temperatures rise. Premium friction compounds are engineered to deliver predictable braking from a cold morning start to repeated hard stops on a hot day. Lower quality compounds may lose consistency as heat builds, causing the brake pedal to feel different after prolonged use. While most daily drivers may never notice this during normal commuting, the difference becomes much more apparent during mountain driving, heavy traffic, or emergency braking situations. Because every material involves trade-offs, reputable manufacturers spend years developing proprietary friction compounds that balance stopping power, heat resistance, rotor wear, and durability. Budget brake pads, however, often simplify those formulas to reduce manufacturing costs. On the surface, they may look almost identical, but under repeated heavy braking, the differences become much more noticeable. This is why two vehicles fitted with visually similar brake pads can behave very differently during an emergency stop or after thousands of miles of daily driving. And that's only the beginning. Even a well-made brake pad can disappoint if one critical part of its design is overlooked. Brake pads aren't just blocks of friction material. Hidden underneath are components that directly affect how your brakes feel and sound. One of them is the backing plate, which supports the friction material under heavy braking. Poor quality backing plates can flex under pressure, reducing braking consistency. Another critical part is the shim. Its job is to absorb vibration before it becomes brake squeal. Premium brake pads usually use multi-layer shims, while budget versions often use simpler designs or cheaper materials. Mechanics also replace worn clips and hardware because even a quality brake pad can't perform properly if it can't move freely inside the caliper. Some premium brake pads also include precision-cut chamfers and slots on the friction surface. These features help reduce vibration, improve heat distribution, and remove brake dust from the contact area. They're small details, but they demonstrate how much engineering goes into reducing noise and maintaining consistent braking performance. This is why professionals inspect the entire brake pad assembly, not just the brand printed on the box. One of the biggest mistakes drivers make is blaming the brake pads for every braking issue. In reality, worn rotors, sticking calipers, or old mounting hardware can cause noise, vibration, and uneven wear even when the new pads are perfectly good. That's why experienced mechanics inspect the entire braking system instead of replacing pads alone. They also follow a proper bedding-in procedure, allowing the new pads and rotors to wear together evenly. Skipping this step can reduce performance and shorten pad life. So if the logo on the box isn't the answer, how do professionals actually choose the right brake pads? If experienced mechanics aren't judging brake pads by brand alone, what do they look for? First, they choose a brake pad that's designed for the vehicle's purpose. A family sedan, a heavy SUV, and a performance car all generate different amounts of heat and braking force, so they require different friction materials. The best brake pad isn't the most expensive one. It's the one engineered for how the vehicle is actually driven. Next comes quality. Mechanics usually prefer pads from manufacturers with a proven reputation for consistent engineering and testing, rather than simply choosing the cheapest option available. They also buy from trusted suppliers because counterfeit brake parts have become an increasing problem in the aftermarket, and even a premium brand can be unsafe if it's fake. Finally, experienced technicians consider the vehicle owner's driving habits. A car that spends most of its time in city traffic needs different braking characteristics than one used primarily for highway commuting or occasional towing. Matching the brake pad to real-world driving conditions often delivers better performance than simply buying the highest-priced option. Finally, they think beyond the brake pad itself. If the rotors are badly worn or the calipers aren't operating correctly, replacing the pads alone won't solve the problem. That's why professionals treat the braking system as a complete package, instead of replacing one part at a time. In the end, the brake pads mechanics quietly avoid aren't defined by a particular logo. They're the ones built to meet the lowest possible price instead of the highest possible standard. So, which brake pad brands do mechanics quietly avoid? The honest answer is that most professionals don't blacklist entire brands. They avoid cheap product lines, counterfeit parts, and poorly engineered brake pads that sacrifice quality for a lower price. A respected manufacturer can produce both premium and economy products, while a lesser-known company may build an excellent brake pad if it's engineered and tested properly. The next time you shop for brake pads, don't focus only on the name printed on the box. Ask whether the pads match your vehicle, include quality hardware, come from a trusted supplier, and are installed correctly. Because when it comes to stopping safely, the smartest choice isn't always the most expensive brake pad. It's the one that's designed to do the job right. Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more engineering stories behind the machines we use every day.